Okay, past participle. And whenever I hear this word, it reminds me of that movie Oscar when they say, you have a dangling participle. And then he checks his zipper and he zips this up. It's like, but that's not what it is. It means to have done, to have run, to have something. That's what it is. So it's like the past tense, but it is like even more in the past or something. So if you say, what did you do? That's the past tense, right? But if you say, what have you done? That's a past participle. So the same in Dutch, they have that too. And the simplest way with the most regular verbs in Dutch to create a past participle, and it's always with I have or I am, right? I am judged. I have done. That there's always something like that. There's always I have or I am in there, or you guys have, or something like that. So it's always with the verb have or to be. And in Dutch, it's ik heb, or ja, jullie hebben, or zij zijn, or zij hebben. For example, the word pakken, to take or to grab. If they say I have taken, see in English it gets an N at the end, right? But in Dutch, it's gepakt. And because it's the T one, it gets a T at the end. If it was a D word, a D category, it would get a D at the end. But they always, well, there's exceptions, but usually it always gets ge in front of it. So, ik heb gepakt means I have taken. If it would say I took, that's different, right? It would have said ik pakte. But because it's I have taken, not I took, it's ik heb gepakt. So let's go over those words that I mentioned before. Schoppen. Ik heb geschopt. Fietsen. Gefietst. Zetten. Gezet. So don't do the double T at the end. They think that's weird. Plaatsen. Geplaatst. Werken. Gewerkt. Maken. Gemaakt. Beven. Gebeefd. Kleven. Gekleefd. Plakken. Geplakt. And then the D category, it gets a D at the end, but you don't pronounce it as a D. They don't say geantwoord. Like in English, they would do that, but in Dutch you say if the D is at the end, we just pronounce it as a T because it sounds better to us. Antwoorden, geantwoord. See, it sounds like a T, but you write it as a D. Horen, gehoord. Rennen, gerend. Verven, geverfd. Willen, gewild. Some words in Dutch have ver and her as part of their verb. So then it becomes a bit more complicated, and then the Dutch are like, okay, if we have a word like verwennen, I'm not going to say ik heb geverwend. That sounds just weird, they said. The whole ge in front of it with the past participle is unnecessary. So instead they just leave it out and they just say ik heb verwend. See, and because if it's in the D category, it gets a D at the end, but because they don't want to put geverwend, they leave it out. I have spoiled, so verwennen is to spoil. Beroven, beroven is to rob, so ik heb beroofd. They don't want to say geberoofd, that sounds just too much to them. So if it's ver of be of her, then yeah, a lot of times they leave it out. Beloven, ik heb beloofd. I have promised. Beloven is to promise. Ik heb beloofd. They don't want to say gebeloofd. That sounds too much. Beloofd. Herkennen, ik heb herkend. Easy, right? So, I have recognized. Herkennen means to recognize. Ik heb herkend. They don't want to say geherkend. That sounds weird. So they say herkend. And as you can see, they're not all in the D category. I just picked a few examples because the last one is in the T category. Verpakken. I have wrapped. Like a gift. Like, hey, goed verpakt. It's nicely wrapped, right? Verpakken is to wrap. And ik heb verpakt is I have wrapped. So they don't want to say geverpakt. That sounds too weird. They say ik heb verpakt.